My name is Jason Eisner, and I am the director, co-writer, and editor of Kids vs. Aliens, and you're listening to the Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast. This is episode number 336, where tonight we will be talking about 2011's Hobo with a Shotgun in honor of Canada Day. I'm here, of course, as always, with Steve. Tar will be joining us very, very shortly. Steve, how are we doing? Happy Canada Day.
Yeah, thanks. Happy Canada Day to all our Canadian listeners out there. And also happy 4th of July, because I think it'll be 4th of July before our next episode. So hopefully everyone has safe but fun barbecues and fireworks and all the stuff that goes into those days. So yeah, I figured it happened to be my pick, right before Canada Day. So why not pick a Canadian film, that we interviewed the director for, like maybe a year and a half ago, Jason Eisner. So yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Kids versus Aliens.
Yeah, that's right. Movie wasn't good, but
Yeah.
I did like this one. So spoiler alert. So yeah, how's it going, Joe? Anything new?
Yeah, going good. Nothing really too exciting. I don't think to report on. But yeah, 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to our American listeners, of course. But Steve, I gotta ask, I'm sure we've talked about this before. Is Canada Day like similar to 4th of July as far as celebrations? Is that like a barbecue slash firework thing as
Yeah,
well?
the exact same thing. It's basically the
All
same
right.
thing,
All
but
right.
although probably not as crazy as as 4th of July celebrations, because I see those videos sometimes and it's like, God damn, dude. The miracle, not there are more deaths on 4th of July than there actually are. So yeah.
So people aren't blowing their hands off in
I mean, I'm
Canada
sure there
like they do
are,
here in America.
yeah, yeah. What was it? I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but I was walking home from something and people were shooting fireworks in the park that I was walking by. And one guy's like fireworks box fucking fell over and all the fireworks started shooting like towards the crowd that we're
Nice.
watching. So, I mean, yeah, it happens everywhere. Just people are just fucking drunk and idiots and shit like that. So, yeah, it's
Excellent.
I do want to say
Well,
one thing before we start, though. Uh,
sure.
the day that this episode releases, we do have a movie club. As voted by the listeners, we will be watching 2014's Exists, which is directed by Eduardo Sanchez, of course, famous for the Blair Witch Project. That's what people wanted to watch. So that's what we're going to watch. So that's Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. All you have to do is be part of the Discord, and I send the link shortly before that time. And we watch a movie together. It's as simple as that. So nothing too complicated. Hopefully you can join us.
Excellent. A little bit of found footage action. Love it. Have you seen that one?
I have not, so I'm excited.
Okay. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. It's been a very long time since I've seen that one. Hopefully, maybe I'll be able to get in on that one. We'll see.
Mhm.
But yeah, so join us Friday, movie club. How do you join? Discord, of course. Join the Discord if you haven't already. If not, send us a DM, email. You can get into that Discord. Completely free to join. All righty, Steve. Let's do it. Are we ready to spill a little tea?
Yeah, let's spill that tea all over.
Oh, you want the tea? I'm sorry. We don't serve tea. Nope. Instead, you get a cup of Joe. And now here's Joe with the news.
All righty. Thank you so much, Chuck. And here you go, ladies and gentlemen, your cup of Joe for the week. Let's start off with perhaps the biggest news that has come out. It's been actually like almost a month now since we've done news. We've just been busy between events and then just like crazy scheduling and stuff like that. So we have missed quite a lot, but I'll try to keep this as brief as I can. But let's start off with perhaps some of the biggest news that has come out. It has been teased for a long time. And if you have been keeping in the circles of, Universal Studios and whatnot, you will know that it has been heavily rumored that a horror themed park was going to be coming as part of the new Universal Studios theme park that they're going to be opening, which is called, what is it, Steve? Epic Universe?
Epic
Would
Universe,
be
yeah.
the third park.
Mhm.
Yes. Well, it has been officially announced that part of that amusement park is going to be a very special horror theme world by the name of Dark Universe. What is this part going to be about? Well, I'm about to tell you. Dark Universe is going to focus mainly on, of course, the Universal monsters, the classic Universal monsters, but they are going to be redesigning these Universal monsters to make them look a little more modern and stuff like that. So they won't be, the classic designs that you're used to. They have been sort of, I would call them modernized. Do we love this, Steve? How do you feel about these designs? I think we did talk about these
Yeah.
maybe a few weeks ago, but
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if it's a likeness issue. Like, I know they have the rights to the
yeah, I was reading
characters.
about that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
characters I know they have the rights to, but the likeness of the actors who played them, I'm not sure they did. Now, I do think they strayed maybe a little further away from the source material than I would have liked. But like anything, it's concept art right now. It's like short videos and stuff like that. Until I see it in person, I'm going to reserve judgment. And you could bet your ass I will see it in person as soon as it opens next year.
All right. So I'm going to go a little into just sort of the press release and then what we can expect as horror fans in this new world that it looks like they're calling it Darkmoor is what they're calling this sort of world.
It's a town that they're
A town.
the
Okay, the
town is called
town of
Darkmoor. The like area is called Dark World.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So obviously we will be dealing with Dracula, the Wolfman, Frankenstein's monster, and the Bride of Frankenstein, and they will be introducing a new character into this, Dr. Victoria Frankenstein, in this world, who is the great great granddaughter of the infamous Henry Frankenstein, who has continued his misguided experiments. As guests venture through Darkmoor, the ravaged village within Dark Universe, they'll encounter the characters and subjects of those experiences within a first of its kind theme park environment that offers family-friendly fun while also pushing the boundaries on intensity at a way that only Universal could achieve. We will see about that. I don't know how hard they're actually going to push this, but I think it does seem there is a lot of sort of adult themed things here. So let's go over really quickly what we can expect inside this world. Firstly, we will be getting Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein experiment. This will be, they're calling this Universal Orlando's most terrifying attraction yet. This state-of-the-art dark ride takes guests deep into the catacombs of Frankenstein's manor, where Dr. Victoria Frankenstein conducts her twisted experiments in a vain display of her genius. She invites guests into her laboratory to witness a demonstration of her ability to control monsters, but of course, plans go awry with her attempts to control the most dangerous of monsters, and all of the Universal monsters are unleashed in this quote-unquote intense dark ride. This seems to be the main attraction of this, the main ride of this world.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I don't know about this one. Like, obviously, I'm excited for it because it's a horror ride. But my one big criticism about Universe Studios in general is they use a lot of screens to achieve their effects,
Right.
which I find takes away a little bit of the experience. Like, Disney will use screens, but only to enhance scenes, whereas Universal will straight up just put screens in front of you and call it an attraction. So I'm hoping that it's more practical than it is just screens, but yeah, I'm still excited for it. I think it's going to be pretty cool.
Right. And then so there is only gonna be 2 rides, and I'm hoping they will. Obviously, this is like a massive park that they're building, and I'm assuming they're going to expand and add more rides into this world eventually. But for now, there will only be 2 rides. So we have the dark ride, and then we will also have Curse of the Werewolf. Deep in the woods that sit on the edge of Darkmoor, guests will find Curse of the Werewolf, a spinning family coaster inspired by the Wolfman. Guests will enter the encampment of the Guild of Mystics, where they'll be greeted by Maleva, the guide's all-knowing seer and leader, who warns them that they bear the mark of the werewolf. Guests then board a wagon and venture into the forest, racing to escape the werewolves before they become one themselves. So there you go, a little spinning family coaster. So it's not going to be one of the sort of extreme ones that you're used to, a la the Hulk and whatnot, but hopefully a cool one. Also, this one sounds really fun, actually. They're the Darkmoor Monster Makeup Experience. Guests of all ages can become fashionably monstrous as they don elaborate face paint and temporary tattoos as Darkmoor Monster at the Darkmoor Monster Makeup Experience. Here, monster makers have converted Dr. Pretorius's infamous old lab into a parlor to continue the spirit of his demented experience. Blah blah blah. So yeah, I mean, seems like a really fun sort of thing where you can get made up to look like a monster. Obviously, mainly for the kiddies, but I think as horror fans, even us will want to sort of don some monster face paint and makeup. So that could be really fun. Also, of course, meet the monsters. There is going to be several of the monsters, Universal monsters, lurking around for pictures and whatnot throughout the world. Also, we are going to have a steakhouse, which they are calling Das Steakhouse. Darkmoor's most ominous restaurant. The establishment is a dining hall run by vampire familiars who size up unsuspecting patrons to be part of the vampire's feast, surrounded by artwork and artifacts detailing the history of the village's creatures of the night. Guests can enjoy a menu of kebabs, burgers, sandwiches, and more. Also, we are going to have a bar/tavern that they are calling the Burning Blade Tavern, which is going to look like, of course, the infamous Frankenstein burning windmill. Despite the blades of the windmill still smoldering and flaming periodically, Darkmoor's monster hunters have transformed this old fiery mill into their favorite hangout while enjoying a menu of burgers, bratwursts, wings, etc. Guests will hear stories of the infamous hounds, boastful hunters from beyond Darkmoor, all while surrounded by an impressive display of the monster heads they consider their trophies. So that sounds pretty cool as well. And then finally, they will have Day Lacey's Cottage. Near Frankenstein's Manor sits Day Lacey's Cottage food stand, where the original Frankenstein monster once received sustenance and friendship. Here, guests can find a variety of snacks and whatnot. And then, of course, they will have a gift shop as well in this world. So seems like it's going to be a must-see for any and all horror fans. This is something I think we've all been waiting for years, a world dedicated to horror. So very excited. This will be coming out sometime next year. I know 2025 is the
summer
release date,
2025.
summer 2025. Will there be delays, or is this like definitely going to be happening by
Universal's pretty good
2025?
with their dates, so I think they have too much writing on it, especially the summer seasons, like the busy season with all the kids like being out of school. So they're gonna want to rush this and make sure they hit it on time. So I'd say June 2025 would be a safe bet as to when this opens.
Excellent. Yeah. So obviously, I'm sure horror fans will be flocking to this. It's going to be super busy, obviously, in its first year. There's also going to be several other lands, Super Mario World and Train Your Dragon. But this is the one, obviously, we are most excited for. So we'll keep you up to date. And Steve and myself, for sure, I think are planning to go next year.
Mhm.
So we'll give you guys a full review when we do attend next year. All right, let's head into the next bit of news here. File this one under super random, but we are getting an expansion of the Megan universe, where a new AI will be introduced into this, with apparently quote unquote Megan universe, but it's going to be adult oriented now. Blumhouse will be releasing a movie called Soulmate. SOULM, the number 8TE. So in this movie, they are planning to release January 2nd, 2026. They are calling this a spin-off of Megan, where in this one sounds pretty interesting. In Soulmate, a man acquires an artificially intelligent android to cope with the loss of his recently deceased wife in an attempt to create a truly sentient partner. He inadvertently turns a harmless love bot into a deadly soulmate. Now, this to me sounds cooler than Megan. Why they're calling this an addition to, and they're calling it a seductive addition to the Megan universe, to me, it seems
like-
kind of weird.
It's like you
because,
perverts who are after Megan have a
Yeah.
movie now, you know?
Why even like attach it to the like and call it part
Right.
of the Megan universe? Like, I guess because like Megan was so popular, they're like,
Probably.
let's make an adult version of it. To me, it sounds kind of like Ex Machina, if you've ever seen that in
Yeah.
some ways.
Or that Black Mirror
Um,
episode with Haley Atwell.
yeah,
You know, like yeah.
right, yeah. But I'm down for it. James Wan is attached to it as well. I think he wrote the story for this one. But yeah, I'm down for it. It sounds better than Megan, so we'll see. But yeah, that's all I got on that for now. I'm sure something we'll end up covering at some point. Todd is back. Todd, he's here. How you
Hi.
doing, buddy?
Okay, how are you?
Hi.
How's everybody?
Excellent. I was fantastic. Now that you're
Oh,
here, buddy.
oh, wow. Look at that. Sparks are
I
flying.
was saving that. I was saving this story for you to come in,
Oh,
but that is the Nosferatu trailer just released actually today as of this recording. It actually released on Friday in theaters. It was attached to Bike Riders. People were literally buying their tickets to see Bike Riders just to get a glimpse of this
that movie
trailer.
looks really good too, though. So I want to see that.
Bike Riders?
Yeah.
Yeah, good cast as well. People were quickly leaking it online, but I gotta say, they were shutting it down. I made the attempt to look all over Twitter and I couldn't find it anywhere. Kudos to the studio. They really made shut that shit down quickly. But I'm glad I didn't, because I was able to see a actual HD version of the trailer and not a shitty cam version of the trailer. So yeah, no, of course, Robert Eggers' Nosferatu will be releasing this Christmas, December 25th of this year. I'm planning to see a Christmas night. Fucking have my Christmas dinner and head out and go see
You're a little heathen.
Nosferatu at night. Yes, I'm very excited. But of course, Robert Eggers' Nosferatu is based, of course, on the original Nosferatu that, came out forever ago. It's going to be starring Willem Dafoe, Nicholas Hoult, Lily Rose Depp, Ralph Ineson, amongst many others. I'm sure we've all watched the trailer by now. I hope, because I asked. So I got to ask, gentlemen, what were your thoughts on this Nosferatu trailer?
I thought it looked really freaking cool, man. And the cast is stellar. Love it. And I also like the sound design a lot, man. I love what he's doing with the sound. It's bringing me back to the Witch vibes here. And I cannot wait to see it. I don't think I'll see it on Christmas Day like you, but definitely going to see that as soon as possible.
Yeah, I dug the hell out of it too. You know, obviously Eggers is a very good director, and it's got a killer cast. It looks like it's shot beautifully. Yeah, I mean, and I thought it was interesting that they didn't show Nosferatu, or at least Count Orlok, like clearly, because that shit's gonna leak at some point, like a on-set shot or something. But I liked it, and I don't need to see more. I think I'm ready for, like you, probably December 25th at night to go watch it.
Yeah, I mean, you know me. I love my Eggers, and this looks awesome. I kind of wish it was black and white. I feel like it has the vibe of a perfect black and white movie. So I was a little shocked to see it in color. I thought they were doing it in black and white. So, but I mean, still, it looks fucking great. I can't wait. And highly anticipated. I think, it definitely is gonna be the last one to sneak in for our year ender. And I have very high hopes that, I'd be shocked if it doesn't make my top 10, and I'll be disappointed if it doesn't. But yeah, I agree. No need to see more. I mean, that was perfect. That was a perfect little glimpse, and we'll see. December, Christmas night, go and see it. All right. Next bit of news here is Jordan Peele's newest horror movie. Not much to report on, except he took to his Instagram and Twitter to announce the official release date for his next movie. Of course, it was supposed to be released same day as Nosferatu this year, December 25th, 2024. But instead, it is going to be released now, October 23rd, 2026, almost a full 2 years after its original release date. I guess we can probably blame the strike on that and whatnot. But yeah, nothing else to report on. All he teased was the date. So we'll see. I mean, I'm sure we will get some sort of teaser trailer or a poster or something within the coming year, or, whenever they start filming. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's done 3 very different movies so far, and we'll see where he ventures next. I mean, I think we can all agree he is a very ambitious director, and he's definitely one of the most exciting sort of voices in horror right now. At least, and surprisingly, the 3 of us, I think, probably all agree with that. He seems to be very divisive otherwise in the horror genre, but Yeah, I know we're all very excited. So, but we're gonna have to wait almost two full years until we see what is going to be up with this new Jordan Peele horror movie. All right. Also, Steve, I got this one for you, buddy, because a Conjuring television series is currently still being developed over at HBO Max. As far as what is going to be involved with this, we really don't know. But you're the big Conjuring guy. How do you feel about a Conjuring television series? Is it necessary?
Is it necessary? No. If they do it like the X-Files, but for ghosts, then I'd be down. I'm sure there's something that already exists like that. I think maybe a Ghost Whisperer or something like that. Was kind of like that, or there have been attempts at this story before, but I don't know. I think it could be cool. Nothing I'm overly excited for or anything. I would venture to guess it doesn't involve Patrick Wilson or
I was
Vera
going to ask,
Farmiga.
do you think you need Patrick and Vera? Like, even if it's just like an introduction thing,
I mean, I guess it could be
like they could
recast
sort of be the
as
crypt
Lawrence,
keepers.
right? Yeah, right. I don't know. Like, I really don't know what direction you're going to go into, but I'm curious enough to see what they come up with. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
All right, yeah, indeed we will. I mean, The Conjuring's obviously the money train that will never stop at this point, and the television series makes sense. I like the idea of an anthology series. I think that's probably the best way to go. Just make up, say it's part of their case files, and just keep going with that. And yeah, I mean, I would love to see Patrick and Vera involved in this some way somehow, because without them, I just don't know how well The Conjuring works. But yeah, even if it's like a mini series, do like a quick like 8 episode thing or something like that with them. I think it could be really awesome. And HBO always kills it. I don't know if anyone's been watching House of the Dragon, but that's back and it's fucking awesome. For you Game of Thrones fans, it's only a couple episodes in, but it's fucking right on par with Game of Thrones, man. It's fantastic. Highly recommended if you're a Game of Thrones fan and you haven't gotten into House of the Dragon yet, because season 2 is killing it so far. All right, next big bit of news here is an update on It Follows Part 2. I didn't even really know this was happening, honestly, but Micah Monroe recently took to an interview. They are going to be titling this one They Follow. Micah Monroe recently did an interview with Collider magazine, and here's what she said. David is brilliant, speaking to the, of course, writer-director. It Follows was changing the game in the genre, and he wouldn't ever make a sequel if he didn't think it was going to top it. He just knows what he wants to do and what he wants to make. I mean, at first I was like, "Oh, a sequel, where are we going to go from here?" And I read the script and it's just so fucking good. It's so good. She said, "I'm so excited. I think where you'll meet Jay at this point is maybe not what's expected, but it's so cool. It's just, of course, as everyone says for sequels, literally, though, it's just bigger and darker and more fucked up. Reading it was the craziest thing ever. I am so excited for this role. It's been a long time since I've been this excited to delve into something. There's a lot to play with, and I think it's going to be incredibly challenging for sure, but so fulfilling. I can't wait." Far as release date or anything like that, obviously we don't know. They haven't started filming yet, but They Follow 100% going to happen. Obviously, the things you'd expect for Micah Monroe to say, hyping the movie up. But yeah, I
Lame.
mean, we so obviously we just reviewed the movie
Lame.
very recently,
Mm.
and I said, "Lame, you're not excited for They
No,
Follow?"
lame. The first one's dumb. I'm gonna die on this hill. It's
Yeah,
not a
that's
good
right. You
movie.
didn't like it.
It's dumb. It's
Yeah.
not a good movie. It doesn't make any sense. They change what makes sense and what rules back and forth just to fit the movie. Yeah, it's not good. Give it a
But
chance though.
did you see potential there where they could
Yeah,
improve though
of
with
course.
the
Yeah,
sequel?
yeah. So if they go fix the issues that I personally have with it, and then you can rehash that in the episode if you want to listen to it. But yeah, no, I think the film was technically made well, and I think it has a cool idea, and I think the director's pretty good, but I just didn't like the final product with it. But I think he's got some directing chops.
All right. Yeah. We'll see. We'll update you. I'm excited. I mean, I really liked It Follows on my secondary watch, and I think there's a lot of potential there to expand on this universe. So we shall see. All right. Just a couple more stories to get through here. And one of the ones I was most excited for is the return of Peach Fuzz. He is back, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Duplass announced that Peach Fuzz is coming back, but a bit of a surprise here. I think most of us were expecting Creep 3, the movie, of course. As he said there, he was going to make a trilogy. However, we are going to be getting a TV series out of this, as we are going to be getting something titled The Creep Tapes. So it is going to be a television series expansion of the Creep franchise. That is all we really know as of right now. So each episode exposes a new victim from one of the fabled Creep tapes. That is what was described there. What do you guys think? I don't think it's necessary. I think this seems too much to me. I feel like they should have just went with a third movie, because I feel like it's going to become very repetitive over time. I think maybe if you make this a 30-minute series, perhaps this could be interesting, but I just don't know how deep you could really get into this, bringing in like a new victim every single time. Like, I think that's going to get boring after a while. But what do you guys think?
I agree. I mean, I prefer a movie, and I think the concept sounds pretty cool. But yeah, to your point, I mean, you get to befriend another filmmaker and kill them each episode? Like we've seen that for 2 movies already, and we kind of wanted the end of the trilogy, not 10 more of the same thing. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I'm getting over the series at this point. I hate to say it, but it's a lot of commitment. Every time these new shows come out, it's like, okay, do I want to watch 6 or 8 hours of this, or do I want to watch 4
Right.
movies? So, and I think Creep is good in small doses, and I think a three to kind of finish off the story would have been cool, but a TV show, I don't know. I feel there's a lot more stuff I'd rather watch probably than a Creep TV show.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm always down for more horror in television, because I feel like we don't have like a lot of like really great stuff right now, like horror wise. So hopefully we'll get. I mean, now that Walking Dead's over, and I mean, yeah, there's like a million Walking Dead spinoffs at this point, but other than that, I feel like there's nothing like super must watch right now. So I'm down for it. We'll see what happens. All right. File this one under. I don't think anyone saw this coming, and that is we are going to be getting a Hostel television series. We're riding back on the television series train here. Now, I was like, why are we doing a Hostel television series? It's been like 20 plus years since the last movie, right? Maybe a little under, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, the last
But what
one,
really piqued
Hostel 2 was 2007. So, and I think they had a
there was a
three
Hostel
direct to
3,
There's a
right?
three,
video. Yeah,
yeah.
a couple
Yeah.
years after that. So
Yeah, so, so we're delving on 15, 20 years since the last movie. And yeah, so Eli Roth took to Twitter, announced that they are developing a Hostel television series. But what really, I think, piqued my interest and be like, all right, I'm kind of down for this, is that Paul Giamatti, of all people, is set to star in this series in a very key role. They are calling it. No other details about what the series is going to involve. My guess is like Giamatti, maybe he's going to be the head of the club there. What do they call the club? Do you guys remember? It's been a while. I know they got the
hunting
bloodhound
something.
dog thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, the hunting club. So
something like
my
that.
guess is that Giamatti will probably be the head of this hunting club or something like that. We'll see. But me now, I'm excited because Giamatti, he's a fantastic actor. I mean, the dude is. I mean, he was just nominated. I mean, I think he's won an Academy Award, right? And he's been nominated for many others, the Holdovers, most recently. But with him on board, I'm down for it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna sound like a broken record here, but I prefer the movie, direct sequel to part 2, because 3 is ass. But I mean, shoot, I guess I'll be open to it. But yeah, I don't think Paul Giamatti can play anything but the main director of what we gotta look that up. It's something hunting club. We gotta figure this out. Steve, you go. I'm looking it up.
All right. Yeah, and it's the same thing. I'm going to be interested in what happens. Like, then we'll get a trailer and I'll watch it, and then I'll be like, okay, maybe I'll watch it when it comes out. Then it's going to come out. I'm going to be, I'm going to put it like back because there's other stuff I want to watch first, and eventually it'll be too late and I just won't watch it. So that's really like my cycle of TV shows. Unless it's a really big TV show, I tend to put it off to the side. And then like a year later, I don't know why it feels like I shouldn't watch this now because it's like a year old. No one's gonna care anymore. I don't know why it's like Fuck TV, man. I want more movies. I don't want more TV shows.
Yeah, and the club is called Elite Hunting Club. So there you go. Paul Giamatti,
There we go.
director of the Elite Hunting Club. Joe called it.
I think so. We'll find out. All right, and then finally, just a couple of casting choices that were made recently. Lost Boys star Jason Patrick has joined on for the cast of Terrifier 3. He has been announced, so he will be in there as well now. And finally,
Michael.
David. Yeah, they've actually, they're getting some actors in there that are actually have some bit of acting chops. So we'll see. I'm excited to see Savini, whatever he ends up doing. I'm thinking of Victim in some ways, somehow, perhaps in that. And then I don't know where Jason Patrick's going to fit into this, but we shall see. Hopefully a bigger role than Alyssa Rose's literal 2-second cameo.
That was
in that
enough.
one. Right. And then
I don't
speaking
remember
of
her in there.
Terrifier,
Where was she in there?
She a teacher or something.
she was
In
a teacher for
high school
literally
teacher?
like 2
Yeah,
seconds.
high school teacher.
Yeah,
Good.
and
That's
then-
perfect
Exactly.
timing, right?
Yeah.
1
Yeah,
second too
and
long.
now she's part of, and then people are getting Terrifier 2 posters signed by her. It's like she was fucking in it for like
Oh, my
like
word.
30 seconds, Yeah. It's like I'll be signing Dark Circles posters soon, so don't worry, guys. It's as background actor.
We're still waiting.
It's like
still waiting.
one day
Yeah,
we'll see.
Hopefully.
Well, they had to do reshoots to get Joe out of it.
Exactly.
They're like, wait, this motherfucker
Exactly.
keeps looking at the
Yeah.
camera, dude. We can't.
Right. And then finally, speaking of Terrifier 3, of course, David Howard Thornton, the star of Art the Clown. Well, he's going to be taking on a new role. He was Art the Clown, ladies and gentlemen. He also played the Grinch in The Mean One. Well, now he has been cast as Steamboat Willie in the upcoming Mickey Mouse movie, Screamboat. So he will be having his chops as playing a killer Mickey Mouse now in Screamboat, which will be releasing next year. So I mean, hey, if anyone could pull it off, I guess he can. And we shall see. Has anyone seen The Mean One yet? I've
I
heard
was
it
just
was
gonna ask you
terrible,
guys
but I've
if
yet to
you've
see
seen
it.
it.
It like
No.
came
I know it
and
really
went.
finally did release.
On
Yeah.
what though? Like I didn't see it on any streaming services, so
It's probably like, I'd guess on Screenbox, maybe.
maybe it's not even like VOD here, so I just
Mm.
can't watch it. I was hoping
It,
they'd re-release
like,
it
yeah.
this year.
Let me look here.
Hey,
'cause I
but good
know
for
it
him though. You
finally
know,
did
make your
release.
money, get your roles, man. Add
Yeah.
to your con
Hell yeah.
resume. Add some more 8x10s to your table. Like that's pretty
Exactly.
cool. Good for him. You know what I'm looking forward to is that fucking Winnie the Pooh Part 2 movie. Like I
Yeah,
keep
that
seeing
that
it
should
like
be
pop
out
up everywhere.
pretty soon on
It's
like,
out.
on
It's
streaming.
out
I mean.
VOD.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. I heard it was bad.
Oh,
I heard
bad.
some people say it, and I
It was
heard
better.
some people say it
Better.
improved, but it was still bad.
Right.
Bummer.
Yeah. I don't know. I saw the trailer, like they at least looked better. It looks like they actually put money into like better costuming and masks and stuff like that. But yeah, this one focuses on Christopher Robin, I believe, which is what we kind of said they should do after the first one. So we'll see. Perhaps something we could review. I don't know. Could be a fun one. I don't think we ever reviewed part 1, so maybe
Yeah, we did
we'll
as
jump
a
on
movie
part 2.
club, I think.
Movie club, yeah.
Yeah, we
Oh,
watched
maybe we
that.
should do that for maybe we should do that for movie club. Do
Yeah,
you think we
maybe
could get
once
to
it comes
get
out
it?
streaming.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Cool. All right, and that is it for horror news this week. Thank you, everyone. All right, gentlemen, let's jump into what you been watching this week.
I will lead us off once again with a Walking Dead recap. I watched Walking Dead Season 2, which, for those of you who don't know, is the second season in The Walking Dead. See, that
Really?
was a pretty
Shocker.
good joke.
Season 2
Like,
is the second season?
you're like, well, let me finish my dad joke, but you just took my fucking thunder. So yes, dad joke succeeded. Steve's laughing. Joe's not laughing. Yeah, so this one, we get to the farm, right? We get to meet Herschel and Maggie and Beth and some other brothers that are nameless and faceless and all that stuff. Our heroes meet the farm because Carl and Shane and Rick are out hunting or some shit, and then Carl gets shot by one of the farmer's kids accidentally because he's looking at a deer. The deer gets shot, goes through him, hits Carl, blah blah blah. So long story short, Herschel is like, the older man. He's a veterinarian, and he's like, I'll take care of your boy, but I need some medical supplies. And meanwhile, Shane's going ape shit because he loves Lori. He just won't get over it. Get over it, Shane. You got Andrea, hot blonde chick, she wants you, you bang her in the car. Why can't you just move on, you fucking idiot? But he loves Lori, loves Carl. He's a fucking psycho. So he's like fucking staring in the mirror. He's shaving his head. He's being edgy. I fucking hate Dale, dude. Like Dale needs to shut the fuck up. I cannot stand him, a fucking righteous motherfucker. But anyway, like, Shane's arc is, eventually he just can't get over Lori and he wants to kill Rick, and he eventually tries to do that towards the end of the season. We start seeing more of Rick becoming, adept to this new environment where he has to be ruthless. He kills some random people that threaten his group, things like that. We have the struggle between Herschel not wanting to keep Rick's group at the farm and then kind of wanting them there, and then Herschel not understanding that the world is scary because they've had it pretty nice in their little seclusion out in the forest here. And also too, oh yeah, that's right, Sasha, Carol's daughter, not Sasha, what's her name? Steve, you remember?
Oh man, it's been a long time. What was her fucking name?
Sophia.
Yeah.
Sophia goes missing on the freeway because they get attacked by a bunch of walkers, and she runs off, and then Rick can't really help her right away. So the whole season they're looking for her. Turns out, spoiler alert, she was in the barn the whole time the Herschel was keeping hostage because he thinks the walkers or the zombies are just people that are sick, and then they'll get cured eventually. Yeah, so this group bands together, and it's definitely a step down from season one, but season one is freaking hard to top. And I think their budget got cut in season two as well, which is really freaking dumb because it was riding high after season one. So that makes zero sense. But I guess, networks want to make extra money. Zombies are still spot on. I think all the acting is great. I love the Shane Rick dynamic, and it's just a shame that Shane's just an idiot and he couldn't get over his shortcomings with wanting to steal another man's family essentially, and not being able to put his pride aside and just move on with his life. Because he is a good character deep down, I think, but he just makes stupid fucking decisions and just can't get over. He's his own worst enemy at that point. Great addition to the cast of season one and some cool kills. And yeah, season two is a solid 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, the reason they had a lower budget is because they didn't know that season one would be a hit when they started filming it. It kind of became a hit as they were in production. But that's also the season that Frank Darabont left, so there's also a shift in attitude towards eventually happens in season three. So,
Got it. Was Frank destined to, like, was his vision like a 3-season thing, or like never ending, or do you know?
I'm not sure.
So I wonder what his arc would have been, like
Yeah,
what he wanted to
I'm not
do.
sure what his end goal was. I don't even remember what the issue was between them, but probably just creative differences.
Yeah.
I'll go next since I'm already talking here. So I'm continuing on my whole 60s cramming before we hit our 60s episode at the end of August. So the first one that I watched over on probably VOD, I would say. Yeah, VOD. And that is 1962's Carnival of Souls. So this one was recommended by one of our listeners, someone in the Discord. And yeah, the story is pretty basic. A woman and two friends are driving down the road, and this car full of guys decide to race them for whatever reason, and they start racing each other. But on a bad turn, the women fall off a bridge in the car, and it crashes. Everyone thinks that they passed away, but it turns out that one of them, the lead of the film, is found like on a little rock kind of coming out of the water. So she survived the crash, or did she? Well, you have to watch it to find out. And yeah, so she kind of reboots her life. She goes somewhere else. She plays the organ in the church, but she starts seeing like ghosts every once in a while. And as the story progresses, she starts seeing more and more of these ghosts slash ghouls that are haunting her. And she tries to figure out what's going on and why this is all happening, culminating to a twist ending, which I'm not going to spoil, even though it's like, God knows, like 60 years ago, 70 years ago. Yeah, so this one is good. Cinematography, excellent. Very, very, very well shot film. I like the lead a lot. I think she played her role really well. I thought maybe the side cast could have been a little bit better developed. There are some interesting characters that come in, but not enough to be like considered good characters. There's this guy who's like always trying to get into her pants, and he kind of gave me the creeps and everything like that. It could be a generational thing too, though, from the '60s, because obviously back then men saw themselves as being superior to women in every way, and the way he treats her is very kind of uncomfortable to watch. But that's come from a 2024 standpoint. But it still came off giving me the creeps, and it's a good runtime. It's only an hour 18 minutes, which I really like, and it's good. Like I enjoyed it. I don't know if I loved it. Like I wouldn't consider it like a huge classic or anything like that. It just, I don't know, it's kind of plain at times, and even though the ghouls look cool and the cinematography and all that, it just didn't grab me as much as I guess I hoped it would have. Especially that I'd heard a lot of things in the past, but when someone recommended it, I decided to kind of put it on top of the list. So yeah, I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. It's still a pretty decent film, and that's Carnival of Souls from 1962 on VOD.
Excellent. All right, my first one tonight, 2024 release, a movie by the name of Sting. This one is about a little girl who finds a little spider walking around her apartment complex. She ends up taking it in as a pet. Well, surprise, surprise. The spider grows massively and ends up escaping and wreaks havoc on this apartment complex. And that's basically the gist of the entire movie. Yeah, man. This one's fun. It's definitely like just a complete sort of turn off your brain and enjoy it type movie. It's pure dumb fun. My problem is like I wish it just committed completely to the dumb fun, but instead like they give us like this sort of like family drama story that I just didn't really care about a lot. So that's like sort of my biggest complaint with it. But I respected, so they did like CGI with the small spider, but then they did really cool practical effects when the spider got bigger towards the end, I thought, which I respected the hell out of. And I think Todd should watch this because it gets very Alien slash Predator towards the end, like where they legit just rip off Alien and Predator scenes towards the end, which was pretty funny. So yeah, overall, I gave it a 3 out of 5 because it's for me, it was like a fun one-time watch, but it's not something I don't think I would need to revisit or anything like that. And I just wish they committed to the bit a little better. But overall, a solid watch. So that's Sting 2024. You can watch it currently VOD for rental.
Alrighty, next up is 1988's via Blu-ray, Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Rewatch. I think we covered it at one point. Yeah, I've been playing the video game a lot, and the video game is pretty rough. I'm not in love with it, but the fucking song keeps playing, and I keep seeing the aliens and all that shit. So I wanted to watch the movie again. Yeah, and my thoughts haven't changed. It's a really fun fucking movie. The practical effects are awesome. I think the characters are fucking goofy. Sometimes to the detriment of the movie, but overall it's just a fucking great fun time with a catchy ass song, a cool town, characters you want to see eaten and killed and things like that, really cool fucking props and sets and things like that. And it's so wild to me that there was never a sequel to this. I know it's been discussed many times, but it's nuts that it hasn't happened. And I think as recent as like what, last year or something, the Chiodo brothers were like talking about maybe on Sci-Fi Channel or something like that, but the budget wasn't there for what they wanted. So that's a shame. But yeah, Killer Clowns from Outer Space, a solid 4 out of 5 for goofiness, fun, and just awesome freaking clowns.
All right. So my last one this week is another 1960s film that I watched over on Tubi, and it is 1965's Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. The reason I watched this one is it stars Donald Sutherland, who unfortunately we just learned passed away last week. It also stars Peter Cushing, Christopher Lee, among others, so a pretty stacked cast. So this is the story of 5 guys who board a train to somewhere, and all of a sudden a sixth mysterious character walks on, played by Peter Cushing. He's some kind of like mystic, and as they're like in the train car together, he tells them that with tarot cards he can tell what their future is. So the first 4 cards explain what their future is, and then the 5th card is what's going to ultimately happen to them, like what their ultimate fate is. So one of the guys is like, "Hey, do me. I want to learn what's going to happen in my future." And eventually, all 5 of them do the same thing. So it's an anthology with 5 stories. like any anthology, it's a hit and miss depending on which story we're talking about. The three that I thought were the weakest, there was one where there's like vines that come alive and start attacking a family. There's another one with Donald Sutherland, actually. His story, it's like kind of a vampire story where his wife may or may not be a vampire, and a doctor kind of trying to convince him to kill his wife. And then there's another one with a werewolf, which I thought was a little bit weird. Not the strongest stories, not something I'd say were bad or anything, just not like amazing stories. But there are two that I really liked, including the one with Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee plays this art kind of snob who just like reviews art pieces, and then someone makes a mockery out of him during one of the art installations in one of his reviews. And it goes into a pretty dark but really cool place, especially for the 60s, like something that I would see more in Creepshow than I would in something like that old. So I really, really dug that one. And then there's another one involving kind of voodoo and music, which I really dug as well. Also had some really awesome vibes and some cool music because it is about music. And the wraparound was actually really good. Like when the characters are all in that train car and playing off each other, to see like all that star power kind of on this train car and just feeding off their own energies and stuff like that. There's a nice little twist at the end, which I enjoyed. Yeah, I dug this one. I thought it's one that people should check out. I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. And rest in peace, Donald Sutherland. He has had obviously an amazing career, including some pretty solid appearances in the horror genre. So that's Dr. Terror's House of Horrors, 1965, over on Tubi.
Yeah. Excellent. Thank you, Steve. All right. My last one tonight, another 2024 release, a movie by the name of The Strangers, Chapter 1. Of course, The Strangers getting the reboot treatment. This is going to be a 3-part series, all three directed by Rennie Harlan. So this one, it's starts a little differently. This one, a couple is driving, their car breaks down in a small town. The car needs to be repaired overnight, so they end up finding out there's like an Airbnb, this cabin somewhere. They rent the Airbnb for the night, and lo and behold, they get a knock on the door. Is Tamra home? Sound familiar? And from there, of course, it's your typical home invasion movie from there, where these strangers are attempting to kill our couple. Yeah, man, this, basically after sort of, they get them there through different circumstances. Of course, the original strangers was, I think they were coming from a wedding, a sort of marriage proposal gone wrong. This time it's, a car breakdown. But after that, man, it is like almost a shot for shot remake where they literally rip off like almost exact sequences from that original movie. It just seemed extremely unnecessary, this movie. Like they didn't add anything new. Like it was very just forgettable at the end of the day. And it was just, to me, it was just like frustrating because it reminded me like, of like, the remake of Psycho or the remake of like Cabin Fever, where it's like, what are we doing? We're not adding anything new. The original movie's not even that old. And yeah, so yeah, I mean, I hated it. I didn't like this movie at all. The cast was bad. The acting wasn't very good. The new stranger characters brought nothing interesting, and there was just like a lot of like plot holes and inconsistencies, like not being able to hear a car out in the quiet woods that's fucking like right next to you and stuff like that. That just, you completely need to just like get rid of like any sort of anything that makes sense in this movie. And the movie just felt really unfinished, right? Because it's a 3-part series, so it's kind of like ends with a to be continued thing. So I mean, I guess I have hope for parts 2 and 3 because they really can't get much worse than this, because there'll at least be some sort of originality, which this movie completely lacked in pretty much every facet. So I think they can only go up from here, but I'm not expecting much out of these parts 2 and 3. I think part 2 is coming out later this year, and then part 3 will be out early next year. But it's like, I went on a rant a bit on my Letterboxd review, and it's like, man, like they need to just stop with these like trilogy movies, like in right now. Like I don't know what they're doing, but it's just like they focus on making one good movie instead of let's drag it into 3 movies. We saw it with Halloween. We saw it with The Exorcist, which ultimately, after one movie, they failed miserably, and they already had to recast the director and start from scratch. It's like just focus on making one good movie, man. Like instead of like this whole shitty trilogy thing is not going to work in the horror genre. You're not going to make a Lord of the Rings style horror trilogy. It's just never going to happen. It's never going to work. So yeah, I gave this 1.5 out of 5 because it was just unnecessary and I got no enjoyment out of it. And I should have known right away because they're driving at the beginning of this movie and it is some of the worst green screen driving sequences I've ever seen in my life. It was fucking horrendous. And I should have known right away what I was in for. So yeah, avoid at all costs, ladies and gentlemen. Just watch the first Strangers movie. And yeah, I mean, like I said, you could honestly jump into chapter 2, and I don't think you're gonna miss much. So yeah, there you have it.
I'm glad we didn't cover it.
Yeah, for
was
sure.
Yeah, it was. I mean, honestly, it probably would have been funny to cover it because it just would have been us shitting on it for a 30 or 40-minute review. But yeah, it was. Yeah,
But
it
what'd
was
you
bad.
give it
And
out
right
of
now
5?
it's 1.5.
Oh.
Yeah, I gave it a 1.5 out of 5. I think Sam enjoyed it slightly more, but even Sam didn't like it, and she loves the Strangers movies. Yeah, and right now it's a $19.99 rental. So do not waste $20 on this right now. I wouldn't even waste if it was free. Yeah, it's just bad,
It's
man.
that bad, huh? Oof.
Yeah,
My guy's fired up. Look at him.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like it's not like unwatchable, right? Like it's like I wasn't like fucking like hating myself after watching it, but it just was like completely just it was more frustrating because it was so just unoriginal. And that's it. We all done?
Yep.
All right. That's it then. So Todd, it's time, buddy. Bust out the books, baby. Crunch those numbers. I think we're all at 0 now, though, actually. Right?
We're not. Actually.
We're not,
Final
okay.
game. Final game. Crunch numbers. Oh, whew. This just in. Steve kicking our ass with 22 to my 15 to Joe's 13. Oh my word. Mathematically, we are done. Steve has won, but we will fight to the end.
And I got my punishment pick, which I'll reveal after
Oh boy.
we're done.
Odds are it's a 2B.
Of
All
course,
right.
it's 2B.
Who would like?
I'll go.
There we go.
All right. So my theme this week, not very surprising, Canadian horror. They are all Canadian geography questions. So
yes, I'm
hopefully,
gonna excel at this.
No, I'm kidding. They are Canadian horror questions, but not Canadian
Interesting.
geography. All right. First one. Name me one of the subtitles for any of the sequels in the Scanners series.
No. I don't think I've seen anything past part 1.
Darker.
Scanner Darkly.
No.
I was thinking the same joke.
Wrong.
I'm not gonna say it. I already did a dad joke earlier.
Isn't that like a Keanu Reeves movie or something?
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr.'s in that. It's like, I don't know, whatever. Who cares? Scanner Beneath.
Wrong.
Okay. Well,
you guys give up?
Yeah, I got nothing.
So part 2 is called The New Order. Part 3 is called The Takeover. And there were also unofficial remakes of Scanners. So
are they any of them good? I've never seen Scanners. Wait, is that the one with
Michael Ironside?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Very nice. I also have my theme of Canadian horror films this week. So there we
Collusion.
have
Collusion. Go ahead.
All right. This 1981 slasher film is has been named by Quentin Tarantino.
My Bloody Valentine.
Yes, correct. As his all-time favorite slasher film.
Collusion at its finest. They're not even trying to hide it anymore. All right. What does Kevin Bacon have printed on the ceiling to help motivate him?
Oh,
know
you should be working.
Yes.
Yeah,
Very correct. Good job.
That's good.
You did it. You
And
did it,
Hollow
kid.
Man.
All right. The movie we reviewed, In the Changeling, what was John's, which George C. Scott,
Okay.
profession?
Yes.
Doctor.
Wrong.
That's what I was going to say, Todd.
Well,
Therapist.
Wrong.
which would also be a doctor.
You guys want one more guess?
Let's see. Lawyer.
Wrong. Joe, one
Damn.
last guess?
Hmm. Why does he go into that house? I feel like it had
Because
something
of
to
his
do with
profession. So,
Yes.
Collusion again. He just gave him another hint.
well, I don't think he'll.
I don't think I'm going to get it. A realtor.
Wrong. So I would have accepted two answers.
Oh.
He was both a teacher and a musician.
I mean, one can
That's
say
right.
that a
He-
lawyer or a doctor is a form of teaching.
I don't know.
Because at some point you need to, show the younger generation how to do the job.
But that's any job.
We'll
really.
allow it. We'll allow it. Let
If
me
you work at
put that in.
McDonald's, you're also a teacher.
Well.
If you're there long enough.
All right. What is the name of the burger place?
Isn't it my turn?
It is.
That's
But
all right, though.
Well,
let
I'm
him
already
finish
going.
now.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
What
Yes.
What is the name of the burger place
Butter.
featured in Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
Oh, where
Burger
he
place.
punches the man's head off,
No, that was like a bar.
right? That
Joe's
doesn't happen?
Burgers.
It's where he
Oh,
tries.
okay.
No, it's not Joe's Burgers. He tries to lure the little girl out with the finger. He's like, "Come here."
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yes, yes, yes. That's a great scene.
It was a great scene. What is the name of that place? The burger place.
Hmm.
It has
Good
something to
question.
do with a carnival.
Big Top Burgers.
Motherfucker got it like
Nice.
straight.
Damn.
Really?
Yeah, big
Wow,
big
that's-
top burger.
What a
Yeah.
guess. Pulled that
Very
one out of my
very
ass.
good guess.
Wowzers. Wowzers.
Love it. All
All
right. 3 letterbox reviews. Guess the movie.
Mm.
My favorite movie about abortion.
Christ. Oh, jeez.
My favorite. Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
Abortion is not funny, ladies and gentlemen, but the
it's
way I
not,
read
but
it.
that
Okay.
your delivery of it was yeah. Okay, move on.
Okay. Okay. Number 2. Nothing more conceptually terrifying than men.
Huh.
And number 3. This should be the giveaway, but we'll see. Remember the theme tonight, too. He would never get me because I don't answer my phone.
Oh,
Babadook?
Black Christmas?
Black Christmas.
Black
is
Christmas?
Correct. Yes.
Is there a phone in Babadook at all? I don't. No
Oh.
idea.
Probably. I mean, she's in the house.
Black Christmas. Why would that be abortion?
Because the movie was she was pregnant at the time and her boyfriend wanted her to have an abortion. The movie we had a very good discussion of it when we reviewed it.
The remake?
The movie was, no, the
Or
original.
both? Okay. It's been a
Yeah,
minute,
the
I
remake,
guess.
no, doesn't get into the abortion stuff. Yeah. It's very progressive. The movie was very progressive for a movie that came. It was like only came out like a year or two after Roe versus Wade, too. So it's,
Wow.
it deals a lot with that. Yeah. It's a great movie.
All right.
Can you explain to the non-Americans what Roe versus? I'm just kidding. Don't say that.
I know. I'm Canadian, so.
No, I know, but the worldwide because we're charting in France for like 3 months now, so
Yeah.
I don't think they know what it is.
Google it.
It was a joke. Don't do it.
Okay, guess the movie based off our letterbox reviews.
Ooh.
Gosh.
With a little bit of editing because some of the details were too much of a giveaway. All right, first one.
Sure.
I went into this movie knowing nothing about it, and that was a good thing because it takes you on quite the journey. The film is not afraid to take
Sounds
risks
like me.
as it pushes the boundaries of social commentary and sexual behaviors. It's also incredibly well filmed.
Sexual behavior.
The acting is pretty good, but some of the performances were uneven. There were also some elements in the film I wish they dove into more. Overall, it was an interesting film that I'd recommend checking out.
Sounds like mine.
It wasn't.
You should have said that's Steven's.
Oh.
It was actually
Definitely
mine.
wasn't me.
It was mine. Yeah.
Oh. Lovely.
Interesting.
Review number 2. The movie starts off pretty formulaic, which isn't a bad thing. It's really well acted and has an interesting premise. The second half, however, takes you on quite the journey that feels at times like being on a bad acid trip. Overall, I enjoyed this quite a bit. My main complaint is that it could have been tightened up a little bit at almost 2 hours. I feel it's a bit overlong and definitely worth checking out.
That's Joseph, I believe.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. The last one, Todd.
Sounds like
I think is the
something I wrote.
most like giveaway-ish of the three.
Okay.
All right.
The whole thing, once the initial setup happens, is a wild trip.
I know what it is. I just can't fucking place the name in my
It
fucking
gets
head.
a bit too artsy at times, and the accent is pretty uneven.
Yep, I know.
But
Shut up! Stop talking.
Nope.
Just
but I never knew where it was going. One character played an excellent fish out of water character, and the violence is sparse but fierce.
Stop. But all right, I know exactly what it is. I'm not gonna say anything else. What is the name of this fucking movie? What is the name of this fucking movie? It's got that fucking person I do not like.
I feel like we reviewed this within the last year. Maybe.
It's been
about 2 years.
Just a little bit over a year.
2 years.
With
Inside?
Wrong.
No, it's not Inside. I almost want to help you, but I don't because I need the point. I'm never gonna guess it. It's got the fucking chick that I don't like from Pearl. She plays a fucking girl that can't do a British accent to save her life.
All right, it's Infinity Pool.
Infinity Pool. I was thinking Pontypool. I'm like, that's not it. Damn it.
Made my top 10. Did it make either of your top 10?
It made mine. Yeah,
it made mine too. Yeah, low if I think. But
that's good.
Yeah. Nice.
All right. Is it back to me because I fucked up the order?
Well, what?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
In Hobo with a Shotgun, which we will
yes.
cover shortly.
Seen it.
You've seen it? Good. We've all seen it. What is the name of the pawn shop?
Oh.
Ooh, I thought you get it because it's like a play on horror.
Yeah. I mentally noted that the town's name, but
yeah, that was one of my possibilities, but I did not go with that one.
Is it I don't know.
No? Joseph?
Yeah, I can't remember. No. I can picture it, but I can't think of it.
Pawn Till Dawn.
Oh, nice.
That's right.
Pawn Till Dawn. Would you guys have known the price of the lawnmower by any chance?
$49.99.
$49.99.
Glad I didn't ask that one.
Yeah.
What about the slogan for his lawn care business? Would you cut that one?
Oh, it was you grow it, I cut it.
Close enough. We cut it. Yep.
Yeah.
But neither here nor there.
Right.
All righty. All right, final one of the night, gentlemen.
All right.
Nope.
Sorry.
Stop forgetting about me, Todd. God damn it. Guess the movie based on the IMDb information.
Okay.
This movie was released in the year, the millennium, 2000.
Okay.
Clocking in at 1 hour and 48 minutes. I'm going to skip genres for right now because I feel like it might be a dead giveaway. But currently currently rated at a 6.8 out of 10 over on IMDb.
I think I know what it is.
Our director is John
then,
Fawcett, starring Chris Lemche.
Say it, big man. Go, Mr. Confident.
Mimi Rogers.
Ginger Snaps.
Jesse Moss. It is Ginger Snaps.
Jesus.
I knew it the whole time.
Man, you're fucking destroying this quarter. It's crazy.
Because it's Canadian horror.
Yeah, Canadian horror.
I'm going to no longer give my themes for the week. I think that might be dead giveaways for Steep.
All right.
So give us those points and I'll give you your punishment. 25,
Steven. To me, 15 to Joe. That doesn't make sense. 13. Did they not add up for yours? What'd you have last time? Let's see. No, it didn't add up to yours. You're at 15 too, so we're tied. So yeah, Steve just beat the shit out of us by 10 points.
Don't matter. He won.
Yeah,
I won. All right,
he won.
Boys. It's time for your punishment movie.
Punishment movie, yes.
I just moved last week finally, and I was thinking about this movie because the last time I moved 4 years ago, I woke up at 4 in the morning or 2:30 in the morning, stayed up till about 4:30 in the morning, because I got so excited to watch this film in my new house that I like snuck downstairs on my birthday just to watch this film. And I think you guys should watch it too. And that is 1972, I think. Satan, which is a
I'm excited for this.
Turkish,
Exorcist,
almost
right?
shot for shot remake of The Exorcist.
Dr.
It's
Satan.
not terrible,
No?
but it's interesting, especially if you really love The Exorcist, because it's like Uncanny Valley. It's like
Hmm.
a really badly shot Exorcist, and it's odd, but it's worth watching. So I think that should be a fun punishment.
Okay. Dr. Satan.
Oh, definitely.
Satan.
Yeah.
Just say
I've
time
wanted to watch
Satan.
this for a long time. Yeah,
on
so
Tubi, of course.
I'm down.
Tubi.
This is a treat for me, honestly. more
Yeah,
than
there you go.
anything.
All right, let me
lose
give
again
the
next quarter, and I'll give you another one.
Yeah.
let me give the current half the year update with trivia points here. Steve in a commanding lead at 37. Myself second place 30. Man, that's a lead, Steve. And Joe 26. Oh,
Oof.
You never know, though,
you're
because
colluding with the wrong person, Joe. I mean, personally.
You never know. If you have
That's right.
if you have a month that you lead by 10, next month we're back being close. So
Yeah.
Okay,
All right.
let's do it.
All right, gentlemen.
let's do
That's it. It's time now for our main event of the evening, 2011's Hobo with a Shotgun, starring Rutger Hauer, Rob Wells, Pasha Ebrami, Brian Downey, and Gregory Smith. Directed by Jason Eisner. Plot: a homeless vigilante blows away crooked cops, pedophile Santas, and other scumbags with his trusty pump-action shotgun. Pretty basic. Todd, let's get a little less basic with your plot synopsis.
Let's do a little deeper dive into this. We got Rutger Hauer. He's a nice homeless man. He's riding the rail station. He's chilling out in the back of a boxcar. Excuse me. Comes to a stop. He's waving at people. He's just a good old guy, right? He arrives in fucking Scum Town, previously known as Hope Town, right? And he's walking around, and we quickly see that this town is just a piece of shit. It's dirty as fuck. There's this family of a dad and two brothers that run it. The main guy, the dad, is the Drake. You got Slick, who's a little piece of shit, and you got Ivan, who's another little piece of shit. And Rutger's just trying to, collect cans and be on his way and just like stay low, right? He witnesses a murder done by the Drake guy. And then he sees his lawnmower in a pawn shop. He's like, you know what? I have a dream. I have a dream to buy this lawnmower from the pawn shop and become a landscaper and make money and be, have a better life for myself, right? It's $49.99. I got to start earning and burning. I got to start collecting cans. But lo and behold, he witnesses a young prostitute who is assaulted by Mr. Slick. They're about to kidnap her and probably murder her. And he steps in and he beats the shit out of Slick. He takes in the police and he's like, hey, we need to arrest this guy. And they're like, yeah, we'll get right on it. Uh-oh, cops are working for Drake, dude. Wrong move. So now basically we're going to follow Rutger Hauer as he makes the decision to not spend the $50 on lawnmower, but to spend $50 on the shotgun from the pawn shop and start blowing away all the naughty people in this town. I think this is the third or fourth time I watched this movie, man. Magnet Blu-ray has a really good Blu-ray for it if you're a physical collector, so grab that. I think it is a very fun movie. It goes over the top with everything. We're talking gore, we're talking characters, we're talking lines. You got Oscar-winning lines like, the only thing I'm gonna let slide is my dick in your pussy. That's what we're going with, guys. That's what a lot of lines we're gonna have like that. And it crosses a lot of lines too, with a lot of child death, a lot of weird sexual shit going on. It's just fucking bloody as hell, but it was super fun. But I do have some issues with it, mostly towards the end, because I didn't think it had to go where it went, with a couple weird characters that are introduced towards the end there. But overall, I think it's a fun ass movie.
Yeah, I actually have never seen this one before. I've always wanted to. I just never like sat down and watched it. I mean, obviously, I remember the fake trailer that this was inspired from with Grindhouse and stuff like that. Yeah, so I was excited to check it out. I mean the movie's called Hobo with the Shotgun. I kind of knew what I was in for in some ways, but yeah, man, I wasn't expecting it to go as fucking crazy as it did. I mean, the movie is about as fucking depraved as depraved gets. I mean, you have some really fucked up shit Nothing is really off limits here. They are not afraid to go places. And this movie goes to some fucking really crazy places. Everything is like 100% practical, which was awesome. Like some amazing practical effects and gore in here. Yeah, man, I don't know if you could make a movie like this today. Like, there's some really fucking like fucked up shit in this with like, you know, just really off the cuff inappropriate jokes and, you know, child death and murder and stuff. But I'm all for it, man. I'm fucked up. I love dark shit like that. So I had a lot of fun with it. And yeah, man, it's just a really fun turn off your brain ride. A lot of people are absolutely going to hate this movie though, for sure. Like, so you kind of got to know what you're getting yourself into here. And, you know, if you're into just like really just stupid ass shit, you know, like sort of like the Greasy Strangler, but just think sort of the Greasy Strangler, but ultra, even more like ultra violent. And, you know, you're going to enjoy it. I mean, I'm kind of surprised Rutger Hauer agreed to this, like after watching it. But I mean, he makes a movie. If you don't have Rutger Hauer in here, I don't know if it would hit as good. I think just like having an actor like Rutger Hauer definitely elevates this movie. If you had that original actor from that original trailer, I don't think this movie would have been nearly as good. So I'm glad they found a good actor for this, despite like all the other actors aren't as good, but he definitely elevates this movie. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. I think it was a great time.
Yeah, so obviously I picked the movie. I'm not going to pick something I don't like. You know, it's a movie I've seen a few times now, and it's one that, and the reason I picked it, other than it being Canadian, and it's definitely Canadian because it has a lot of Canadian isms, Canadian actors, Canadian references, Canadian money, all that kind of stuff. But it's a movie I feel that not enough people have watched. You know, it's one I don't really hear about. It's so I wanted to kind of just put it out there so that hopefully there can be some new eyes on it because it is a really fun film. Like if you're into horror, like you should be if you're listening to this podcast, I think there's a lot of fun to be had here. Yes, it does cross the line in a lot of ways, but it doesn't do it in a way that feels like gross, you know? They're having fun with it. They're not making it dramatic. They're not showing you know, they're not showing things that are too far. They're just suggesting things mostly that are really far, and it's all practical. There's absolutely no CGI in this, and holy shit, do they like find creative ways to dispatch people and to kill people. It's a fucking blast, man. There's like a 2 minute sequence right smack in the middle of the movie. It's like a montage basically of Rutger Hauer just fucking killing people. It's one of the best 2 minutes, I think, in horror. It's so much fucking fun. There's such a variety of kills. He kills bad people, like people you want to see fucking die. Like you mentioned it in, I think it was the synopsis, the Santa. You know, Santa is fucking looking at kids through his binoculars at his school, and he's about to put his hands down his pants, and all of a sudden, a shotgun shows up in his binoculars, and he gets his head fucking blown off. You know, that's shit you want to see. You want to see people like that die. And yeah, I just love this film for it. You know, it's crazy. And something that I think is unexpected as well is it's also sweet at times in a lot of ways. The Rutger Hauer's Hobo has a really sweet relationship with the sex worker that is also in the film. You know, they kind of help each other out. They're both kind of on down on their luck. You know, they're doing things that they don't want to do to just make ends meet, and they help each other out. And there's this whole thing with like a bear, which doesn't really make sense on its face, but I don't know, it just kind of connects them in this weird way, and I really like that as well. I think this movie is one that people should really really find and watch. So Joe, I'm like I knew you hadn't seen it, and that's one of the reasons also I wanted to pick this one. I wanted to pick something that one of you guys hadn't seen. So like, you've seen the trailer. Did you rewatch the trailer for
I did.
yeah, like do you find that this is actually a really good adaptation of that trailer? Like they really kind of almost hit all those beats in the film?
Yeah, I mean, I think they took the trailer and improved on it in every single way possible, right? Because that trailer obviously was like super, super low budge, and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, literally they took a 2 minute trailer and made a fucking full length movie out of it. I mean, that's super impressive of itself. But and the crazy thing is, like, you could watch that 2-minute trailer and it's almost like you watched the whole movie. Like they would like use like the exact same scenes, like almost like all the same beats, the exact same sort of themes and stuff like that, like within that 2-minute trailer. It was great. Like, I mean, yeah, I loved it. Yeah, and like I said, I mean, I'm glad they like got a better actor in Rutger Hauer for the full length movie. They were actually going to cast, from what I read, the original actor, and even he knew he couldn't carry a full length movie. And thank God, like he realized that, and because I think most people would be like, hell yeah, like let's fucking do it. Like it wouldn't have been scared, you know. But yeah, man, it was yeah. I think, like I said, I think they improved on every single way from that original trailer. And it's interesting, like I feel like they've done a really good job, like in all of now these Grindhouse movies they've made with, Machete and Thanksgiving. Like I feel like they've taken these trailers and they've made 3 really great movies. It's pretty impressive.
I've never seen Machete before.
Oh man,
I
Machete's
think that's
good.
another one we got to do one
Yeah.
day. We got to
Okay.
finish the
Yeah,
trilogy
we
now
should do it. Yeah.
of trailers.
Is it
Yeah.
horror?
For sure.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
it's
cool.
like gore
Yeah.
horror, you know.
It's
All
it's sort of like it's
Like
very
this.
similar to this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Huh.
It's like the Mexican version of this. Yeah.
So I
Pretty
have another
much, yeah.
I have another line here that's just breathtaking. And quote, "Fuck, I love the smell of your asshole." So I was like, all right, cool. That's another line that
the lines
yeah, you know what you're
the
getting into when
lines
you
in
hear
this
some of this shit.
movie are absolute. I wish I wrote some of them down too, because some of them just made me fucking laugh at how absolutely outrageous some of them are. And usually, most of them are geared at the Abby, our sex worker character. Just some of the most just like fucked up shit you get from like the police officers, are just like these random ass fucking people. Um, as far as like my biggest complaint of the movie is, I feel like our villains could have been slightly better. You know, they're funny and whatnot, but I just feel like they could have hit a little harder for me. That's really my only complaint, though. Other than that,
Yeah, I agree. I like the style of the villains, but I didn't agree with bringing in the 2 like hitmen or whatever they were at the end. Like bringing them, I thought the villains, the main, because they ended up being the main villains essentially, because the brothers were kind of dispatched a little bit earlier than I would have thought they would be. So it was strange that the focus was like shifted from them to these like, I don't even know what they are, because that's when it gets into like the supernatural realm of things. They're fighting an octopus at one point. Like, what is that? Like, I don't understand that part at all.
Yeah, that's something that was super weird. In
yeah,
this, it almost felt like a shout out to his was it Kids versus Aliens story, which was in VH. Now I don't remember if the VHS was before or after this, but it was around the same time. So I wonder if that was like a shout out to kind of his own work there. But it just added to the fucking randomness of this story. But I do agree with you guys. I don't think the villains were as strong as they could have been. Like I get the idea. You have the fucking kind of slimy preacher, Drake, you know, and you know that white suit is eventually going to get fucking red. And you have his like shitty nephews or sons, and yeah, it's I don't know. I just felt like they could have been fleshed out a little bit more.
Yeah, one thing I love though, when Rucker starts going on his rampage cleaning house, they have like newspaper articles that pop up randomly, and one of them says, "Hobo stops asking, demands change." I thought that was pretty good. I just, it's just fucking. It's hard to describe this movie, man. It starts off so it's like it's got a 70s feel for sure, like the way it's shot. But like right off the bat, we meet like their uncle or something that did something, and they decapitate him with a public execution by putting him in the sewer up to his neck and then strapping something around his neck and then pulling it with the car. So like the movie gets going and never really stops, right? And like everything is just over the top. Like there's no wiggle room, from like Slick talking like a fucking moron. They go into like the arcade and they like for whatever reason they're just torturing people. Like everyone's cool with it because they give them drugs. And I had a question too about the 2 hitmen. Are we supposed to believe that like they're immortals or something? Because they crossed out the hobo, right? And then they had next to the hobo's picture, they had Jesus, they had JFK. So are we supposed to believe that they like assassinated Jesus Christ and John F. Kennedy and all that shit? Is that what they're going for?
I think it's just their big dogs, you know, because one of them does die, right? The other one walks away, but or does he? I don't remember. Does the last one die? I know the big dude dies, so
I know one gets the lawnmower, right?
yeah, one gets the lawnmower. I don't remember. I think the other guy just walks away, probably maybe for a second film, because there is an alternate ending to this film that they shot but didn't show, which I'll explain at the end there. So I'm not sure. I don't think they're supposed to be immortal. I think it's just them like fucking around with the pictures and stuff. There's also a really like odd fucking Last Supper scene that look like corpses that are like posed as the Last Supper, and they just kind of hang out there. It's kind of a really odd HQ for the villains in this movie.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Slick's rampage? Because he gets this idea that he's not going to be like the best known villain or whatever, so he wants to one up everybody. So he goes on a school bus and with a flamethrower and kills everybody. How do we feel about that scene?
Loved it. I fucking loved it. Cause like it's like killing kids in movies is always so like taboo, and then this movie's like fuck that, we're just gonna fucking absolutely torch a school bus full of kids, and I was just like, wow, and it's not, and it's handled like in a comical way, so it's not like, oh my god, that's like super disturbing, but it is in its own right. Yeah, I thought it was great. I love that scene. It's one of the best in the movie, honestly.
Yeah, and then they go a little bit further where they take over a newscast and kill George Stroumboulopoulos, and then they bring one of the fucking burnt kids, like puppet him on air and stuff like that, and basically like threaten the kids of everyone in the town that if they don't basically go after the hobo, that they're going to kill all their kids. So but it's weird because when we describe it, it sounds like holy shit, that's a fucking sick, but when you watch it, it feels like it's not taken so seriously. It's kind of just more comical, which is a weird thing. You really need to watch it to understand that.
Yeah, and then we see it come back because Slick gets his dick blown off by Hobo. And then he calls old daddy and he's like, Dad, I'm dying, blah, 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 blah. And then the fucking school bus comes and essentially takes him to hell, which, I don't know, looked visually pretty cool.
Freddy Krueger, like
Yeah, Freddy
spinoff,
Krueger
Canadian
vibes,
spinoff.
right? Yeah.
Speaking of Slick, I gotta throw out another line out there because we gotta throw out some of these lines. So the hobo says, "Put the knife away, kid, or I'll use it to cut welfare checks from your rotten skin." And then Slick says, "Well, you better cut one to Mother Teresa so you can give it to her while she's finger banging you in hell." Like,
That
damn.
makes zero sense.
I know, but it's so entertaining.
I'm reading quotes right. Can I just read some of these quotes real quick
Yeah.
from this movie? This is from the large man when he saw our sex worker. She's so hot, I'd eat the peanuts out of her shit.
And that was a police officer, so.
Yeah, that kind of
He
sounded
also
like
said he
Night
loves
is
the smell of
Something
grass.
Strange.
Oh,
They
yeah.
said something.
Yeah,
Remember? Yeah.
Well, doesn't he eat?
Yeah, he
Something?
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
We
got
need to revisit
yeah.
that.
Right. Yeah.
Also a quote from the same man. You're so hot, you make me want to cut my dick off and rub it all over your titties.
So fucking, gosh.
I mean, those are two fantastic ones right there. And I'm gonna read and see if I can find some more because the lines in this movie. I mean, you heard those two right there. There's plenty more where that came
Oh,
from.
fuck. I
gentlemen.
love the smell of your asshole. Takes the step. I mean, or takes it. No, I love at the end too where Abigail gets her arm chopped off by the lawnmower. And then she uses like the stumpy, like severed arm bone to stab Drake. And I'm like, gosh, it was a really cool effect.
And pry the sewer, like, god damn.
Oh yeah, that's like how heavy is a manhole cover? I know heavier than a severed arm can lift, but
Right.
it was brutal.
Yeah. So while we're talking about the arm in the deleted scene, she actually hooks something like a shotgun to the arm, and they tease a hobo with a shotgun too, where it's her basically taking on the mantle for more revenge.
That's we didn't even mention really too much about that sewer head thing. Like that's actually like a really cool idea and something like I've never seen before, like in any other sort of movie. That's just a brutal way to go. Like getting a manhole cover and putting a hole in it and then just fucking severing someone's head with it. That's pretty cool. I'd like to see that in other movies.
Shout out to Ricky from Trailer Park Boys if anyone watches that. So Yeah, that is a really interesting way to dispatch people, but they do that a lot in this movie. Like they're really creative with the way
Yeah,
they hurt people and kill people. I mean, you have the bumper car kill, when they go to the kind of
It's pretty cool.
the little arcade thing that they have. They have there's another one that I was like really there's one point where they're in their HQ and there's three topless women like just beating the shit out of someone. And I don't remember what Drake
He
does, but he like
doesn't he get like a razor blade or something, and he slices his throat or his stomach.
his stomach. Yeah, it's like
Mhm.
his movie's really fucked up
Yeah.
in the gore department.
Well, even the one where they have the guys barefoot on a pedestal and they have like the oversized mallet that you would hit at a carnival, and they smash the guy's foot and it just explodes apart. It's pretty
But
gnarly
like
looking.
even when Abby gets her hand fucking chopped
Mm.
off in they really went for it. Like it's
Oh
not
yeah.
you don't expect that with a main character usually, but they really you're like, oh no, she'll pull away or Hobo's gonna save her just in time.
Yeah.
And the same thing when he's fucking cutting her head
Her
off.
head off, yeah.
You're like, oh, Hobo's gonna come at the last minute and save her. No, he's like fucking, a quarter way there, and it's like, damn.
Yeah. How's the not Slick, he gets taken to hell, but how's the other one die? I forget. Ivan.
Ivan.
Yeah.
I don't. I'm just reading more quotes. It says Ivan after being electrocuted, he made me come.
Oh,
Oh my god.
oh yeah. Because he gets he wears fucking skates, ice skates to
Yeah.
Oh,
to
that's
walk
right.
around the
Yeah.
apartment, and then he gets stuck in a
Perfect
fucking
Canadian
yeah,
reference.
gets stuck in a toaster.
Drake kills him because they use him as leverage, but Drake just fucking kills him. Is like, well, there's your leverage. I don't give a fuck about this son. I like the other son. That's how he dies. He gets
I don't
shot.
remember that at all.
Mm-hmm. But how about that fucking okay? Like this was very video gamey to me. There's a couple scenes that made me think of video games. One is the hang rope gun that they use in the hospital massacre scene, where they like shoot them. It puts a fucking noose on their head, and then he shoots the ceiling, and it like hangs them. That was like an interesting. That's something you would usually see in like a video game. And the scene where Abby changes and like modifies her weapon was very like Dead Rising, like very kind of ridiculous outfit with a ridiculous like fucking gun. And I really like that too as a fan of those games and video games in general. I thought it was like very comical, and fit this movie.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm just so busy reading quotes right now. Slick. Do you kids like ice cream and bicycles and hobos? Yeah. I hate hobos. And that's when he burns them all alive. It's just
Should have
like,
been on the tagline.
right? Yeah. Fucking
Yeah.
oh man.
So
Fantastic.
overall, pretty good movie. Pretty
Yeah,
fun.
it's fun. It's a fun movie.
It's stupid as fuck, but
It's
it's really fun. Yeah.
You have to really like kind of be in a mood, but it's just like great, like watch with your friends type of movie, or even like even on your own. It's
Midnight movie.
It's a blast. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I watched it by myself and I had a blast. But yeah, I mean, watching this with a crowd would be fucking so much fun. I would love to go see this in like theaters or something if they ever had it, put it back out or something like that. What do you guys think about the death of of our hobo at the end, though? Do you think he deserved, to die, or do you think he should have lived on and we could have gotten a sequel out of this?
I think he's old. He's done his time. I was fine with him dying in this. Like, obviously, it would have been cool if he lived, but it made more sense to the story for me that he died. And then of course it went fucking ape shit. Everyone dies in that last scene. All the cops die. The hobo dies. It's pretty fucking
shootout.
good. Yeah.
I thought it would have been cool to have like a epilogue with him mowing the lawn or something. I think that'd been cute.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like ready. I could go either way, honestly. Like, it was fine. Like, I didn't hate that it happened, but I agree. Like, I think it would have been cool to see him live at the end too. So I'm kind of indifferent about it. Like, I didn't mind it one way or the other.
Well, here's the reason why you didn't get a sequel, guys. Budget 3 million, gross worldwide 748,000. So they probably lived
That's
on and made
not
a lot of money
surprising.
on DVD and all that, but yeah. Bummer.
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
I mean, I think this is I don't even know. Would you even call this like a cult classic? Because, like Steve said, I don't hear a lot of people talking.
I don't think people.
about
That's
this
why I
one.
picked it. Is I
Yeah.
want people to watch this because it's not, and it should be because it's fun as fuck.
Yeah.
Like I don't know a lot of people who didn't like this movie. Like I'm looking at Letterboxd scores. Like people seem to like this
Mhm.
movie, and I actually. So we interviewed Jason Eisner last year, and I totally geeked out with him about this movie because I mean I didn't like the movie he was promoting, so I kind of used this one as the one that I really kind of had fun with, and yeah, he enjoyed it too, and God, I wished it could be a sequel of this. And there was talks of it, but at this point, I think we'll probably never see anything from this again.
The movie's so ridiculous too. Like you could have found a way to bring Rucker Hauer back, like in some sort of resurrection scene or something like that too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look at Abby. Fuck, like, so she gets like a quarter of her head cut off,
Right.
and they go into an ambulance, and he's
True.
fucking pouring alcohol on her neck, like riding the fucking the gurney into the operating room, and then she's like, fine.
Yeah.
You know, she's talking fine despite having her fucking vocal cords probably cut.
Her throat, like,
ridiculous.
yeah, right. It was literally a hacksaw. That went
like
through her
that night
fucking-
too, not like fucking a month later with rehab. No, that night she's just got a bandage on. It's like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yes. Yeah. This is another line. The doctor, when they're trying to bring her back to, he's like, "You whore!" He's fucking,
Yeah.
it's just ridiculous.
I did enjoy that he killed the Santa pedophile. That was a good kill.
Mhm.
And the
Yeah, which is in the original trailer.
It
yeah,
is,
and then
yeah.
the bum fights
Mhm.
guy, because that guy's just a
Oh
piece
yeah,
of crap.
that was definitely a period in time. Remember
Yeah.
bum fights?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes, remember bum fights? I was just, yeah. That was
Yeah,
a
so-
fucking
so
what a weird time to be.
It was
What
yeah.
a weird
That was
time.
during a
Kimbo
very-
Slice.
Yeah, Kimbo Slice was a Street Fighter. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
You
crazy.
Kimbo Slice was on bum fights?
They used to fight like just
Yeah, he
random
was, like,
people in
I
the
think he was
streets.
part of it. Like,
Oh wow.
right around the same time as bum fights, like that was also when like they were just having like filming random fights in people's backyards too, and that's where Kimbo came from. Mhm.
Yeah, it's the Attitude Era,
Used to just
basically.
beat
You know,
the shit-
Jerry,
Yeah,
Jerry
essentially.
Springer. We had
Our kids
fucking-
run around saying "suck it" to each other.
Yeah, it was.
Well, not our kids. Me and Joe
Yeah.
were, but
It was a
Man.
different. I was in fucking late high school, like
What a-
early college. So it
what
was
were
a-
you doing
yeah.
the "suck it" thing?
Good.
Just everybody, Steve?
No, I was a little old.
Yeah, you
for
were.
this,
You
like-
fucking liar.
Yeah.
What a dark time though, bum fights, man. Just like
Yeah.
paying homeless people to beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah,
It's so
and then,
fucked
like-
up.
That's what this movie's so good. It like almost pays off
Yeah.
like killing that motherfucker, and yeah,
Right.
I felt bad when he's chewing the
Wild.
glass and shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Yeah, for sure. All right, gentlemen. I think that about wraps it up, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's rate it. I'll start us off. Yeah, man. I mean, the movie's just pure fun, right? Like, I'm gonna give it a 3.5. I was like teetering between a 3.5 and a 4. And yeah, I mean, I think in the right mood, I'd probably give this a 4. But watching it by myself, I don't think I got as much enjoyment out of it as I probably could have had I watched it with like if it was just the three of us. I mean, I think at other times this could be like a 5 out of 5 movie. So I think it really depends on the setting you're in and the mood you're in and stuff like that. But yeah, man. I mean, it's just pure fucking insanity and dumb fun. I'd watch it again, 100%. It's one I'll definitely like. If me and my friends are looking for something to watch, just looking for something dumb, this is like one of the top ones I would recommend. So yeah, 3.5 out of 5 for me.
I'm giving it a 4, man. And I do think it has some issues, but I just appreciate how it went there, man. It wasn't afraid of lines to cross. The gore is fucking great. Practical effects are always king. Rucker Hauer is just so fucking good. He's so good, man. He's so likable. Yeah, and we already talked about what we liked and we didn't like, so it's a strong 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I was actually considering like giving it a 4.5 at one point. It's honestly the last scene that I don't love. There's something about it that just rubs me the wrong way. The two like guys in the fucking suits and stuff, and the Drake's like show. I don't know. I just didn't love that. But the rest of the movie, it's a fun fucking movie. It's got heart. It's got cool Easter eggs, hilarious dialogue. I've watched it 3 or 4 times now, and I'm definitely gonna watch it again one day. And I really urge people to check it out. I also give it a 4 out of 5.
All right. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5 too, just so we're
Nice.
across the board. 4 out of 5s. It deserves it, man. It's so fucking stupid and fun. Like, whatever. It's like a movie where you can just give it a 4 out of 5 because it's like fuck
This
it. Like it's
guy's
just so
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So 4s across the board. Go check it out. Hobo with a shotgun. And yeah, I agree. I think more people should see this one. I'm kind of mad that I waited this long, to watch it. So
But
go
is
and check
is
it out. Give it some love.
Letterboxd on the same wavelength?
I was
over
gonna remind him.
here? Got ya.
Damn it.
Every week I'm needing the reminder. But yeah, actually, based on what I saw the other day, it did get a very surprisingly high rating from the crowd, currently sitting at a 3.1 out of 5 on Letterboxd, which I feel like for a movie like this, it's pretty solid. So there you have it.
Respectable.
Yeah, a respectable 3.1. Obviously much lower than us. But like I said, I mean, there's no in between with this movie. Like, you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. Like it's really is that type of movie.
I will say this though. So my letterbox setting is to have it to my friends' average, not the general public average, which is our basically all horror fans. And the average for my friends are 4.2. So it just
Nice.
shows that
Yeah.
horror fans will dig this one. Non-horror fans maybe a little less.
Oh
so.
yeah, non-horror fans would hate this movie.
Hate
For
this,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch this with Sam. I have no idea how she would react to a movie like that. I think she might like it. She likes
She
weird
might
shit like
enjoy it,
that.
yeah.
So I think she would enjoy it because she loves gore and gnarly stuff like this. So I think
What
she
was
she
that?
would like it.
Yeah. What was that deleted scene, Steve, or the deleted ending or alternate ending? Or
Yeah,
whatever?
so it's basically kind of an Ash moment where Abby takes on the mantle by like basically using her limb and making a kind of shotgun slash arm thing. Almost, which is funny because it was a part of the Grindhouse thing, almost like Planet Terror, but her arm instead of her leg. So, and that was going to be like her thing.
Cool.
Mm.
Alrighty. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, gentlemen, for our review. Go check it out. Hobo with a Shotgun streaming. I think pretty much everywhere for free.
I
so
don't Blu-ray,
I
go
have
and
no
check it
idea.
out.
Yeah.
Did you? I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it's on Tubi and stuff like that. I think we mentioned.
I
it last
actually
week.
think it is because
Yeah.
it was suggested to me. I'm like, I just watched it, Tubi. What are you doing?
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen, for this week's episode. Next week, Steve, what do we got?
We're going back to the future as we review a 2024 film, The First Omen, not The Last Omen. So, a movie that came out like 3-4 months ago, finally dropped on. Well, here it's in Disney Plus in Canada. I'm assuming Hulu, in the US.
Yep.
So yeah, Joe, I think is the only one who's seen it. He said it was worth reviewing. So let's do it. First Omen.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to rewatch it because I haven't seen it. I saw it in theaters, so I'm glad we waited a little bit. So we didn't like do it right after Immaculate because I feel like there are a lot of similarities with that one between the two. So I think it'll be interesting to discuss both movies in some ways. And sort of I would recommend you definitely don't have to watch any of the Omens before you watch this one, but if you're gonna watch any, I would recommend watching the first Omen, like the original Omen
Yeah,
movie.
not the first Omen.
But, not the. Yeah.
Watch it twice.
Yes, watch it twice. Yeah. But yeah, so go. You don't, like I said, not necessary. But if you want to do a little homework, go watch the original Omen. And then join us for the first Omen, currently streaming over on Hulu here in America and Disney Plus for our Canadian friends. Once again, happy Canada Day, everyone, and for our American listeners, happy 4th of July. Be safe out there. In the meantime, you can keep up with the podcast. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads. Just search the Horror Squad Podcast. You can also email us anytime, the Horror Squad Podcast at gmail.com. But of course, the absolute best way to keep up with the podcast is our Discord, completely free to join. Don't forget Movie Club tonight, the night of this recording. We are doing Exists at 9 p.m. How do you join Movie Club? You gotta be on the Discord. All you gotta do is it's linked over on our Instagram, or send us an email or a DM. We'll give you a link to join that Discord. Also, don't forget important events. We have our Hocus Pocus event coming up the weekend of October 11th through the 13th in Salem, Massachusetts. We will all be there for that. A great full weekend of events. Hopefully you can join us for all or any of them. It's just a bunch of Halloween.com for all details regarding that. Hotels are very limited at this point, so definitely if you are planning on coming, at least book a hotel, even if you cancel down the road or something like that, because Salem in October is crazy. So definitely do that if you haven't already. And leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app if you haven't already. That helps the podcast immensely. Or you can buy some merch, tpublic.com. Just search the Horror Squad podcast. That is linked over on our Instagram as well. And I think that's about it, gentlemen. So we'll see y'all next week for the first Omen. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.